I should say the things have changed in some ways.
Who is the determinant of the public interest?
The more time people spend in digital worlds, the more of our lives we live there.
Intercoin, bringing power to the people. So that's my whole point, man, is that there's other ways to organize society that do not make people constantly greedy and thinking, what's in it for me? I'm not going to tell anyone my idea until I can control it so I could become a billionaire finally. I think the reason people think that is because A, they don't have a safety net. So they grew up thinking that they must make money to survive. Okay. And they still have that PTSD, even when they have $5 million in the bank. They're still thinking like a guy who needs money to survive. And so now they want to say, I want to make my next 50 million. Now they have $500 million, but they're still like, I need more. And the thing that I'm trying to say is, I think a lot of it is psychological, because when you tell a person, you know, bro, you could just give it away. You can just let the world use it. A lot of people, they're not used to hearing that because they're like, wait, but I need to survive. I need to make money finally. So
the way that I would look at that though is that it's not, you're not fighting greed with non-greed. It's the one guy says, I want it, it's mine, I should get to keep it. But the other guy who says, no, you should give it away, he's also greedy, because he's saying to the first guy, I don't want you to do what you want to do. I want you to do what I want done.
No,
so
it's
also greed on the other side as well.
But
even though it might be for other people, I still view that as greed.
I see your point, but I think you need to reframe it by considering who is the one using violence. Remember, Monsanto is the one who has the intellectual property from the government, the patent. Who is the one using violence when a farmer decides to plant one of their seeds? So the farmer is hurting Monsanto's profits in theory, in this really small way, by not paying Monsanto. Okay. Even if the seeds happen to
stealing, I think is what it would be viewed as, right?
You think exactly. Of course, Monsanto
by the IP pro IP side, that would be viewed as stealing.
Piracy, stealing, all this stuff. It happened to be that the seeds wafted over into their field, maybe. Okay. And they allowed the field to grow, and it turns out they didn't realize, but the seeds were similar, and then they didn't die from the herbicide. Aha.
Yeah, I'm a little bit curious about like I didn't maybe quite catch that. Someone bought seeds and then their seeds went into someone else's field and Monsanto was mad about it?
Oh yeah, Monsanto actually sent out people that even if you had a small amount of seeds growing,
but they are selling these seeds. Like, so if I buy 100 seeds from a company and I give you 20, Monsanto's going to be mad?
Oh yeah, they're going to be mad because the other guy didn't have a license for their seeds. Their whole point.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's an IP thing though. That's the government restricting. Is that actually IP though still?
Yeah, you can weaponize IP as long as the government's rules are you can't operate without a license, sir. Right? The license would be on behalf of Monsanto. So Monsanto says, these are unlicensed seeds. You don't have a license for them.
And to me, that seems like something where the IP law needs to be maybe modified. But I don't know that like the way that I would see it is, I bought something from Monsanto. I can do what I want with that. I can do whatever I want with it now that I've bought it from them.
Well, what you're calling
the fact that the government's putting the licenses in, I don't know if that has to do with the IP still.
So there's some decision that was made around the first sale doctrine and copyright. It says if you bought the book, you can resell the book. Okay, that is the idea. However, that is not what these companies want. They want you to be locked in. So, for example, the right to repair. These ideas, the right to repair a tractor. Right? If you're getting a tractor with John Deere, there was a movement recently by farmers. They could not legally repair their own tractors with parts from other competing companies, you see, because the tractor came with all these restrictions, again, by the government, by the capitalists, because, hey, I can make even more money for my shareholders.
That's a bit of a leap there when you say the government, the capitalist, because if you're saying government and private people mixing together, that's no longer capitalism. That's now cronyism or corporatism. Like I don't know if that follows. Like when you use the government to violate someone else's rights, you can't still call that capitalism.
Well,
when capitalism is the protection of rights.
So I'm going to do what you guys do to socialists, right? You say socialism is good in theory, but then the government is required to, like, eat the rich, or, confiscate the wealth. So when it comes to socialism, you assume that the government is in cahoots with the socialists. Is that
Well,
fair
the
to say?
government it's public. If it's all public, the government's picking winners and losers. It's saying we're going to restrict you and we're going to favor you. We're going to subsidize this guy and we're going to tell this guy, no, you got to stop.
That's exactly the sense in which I am talking about intellectual property rights. The government says, if you file a patent with us, we promise to go after everyone with our men with guns. We promise to restrict the farmer from
to protect. That you would frame it as we're going to. Well, I guess, restrict someone from using your design, and the other side of it would say we're protecting your property right over this design, that it's yours, and you could sell it to someone, you can give someone permission to use it, but it's up to you to do that. Like, you have to decide that. And then the abuses come in on whether or not, like, we could figure out, what's fair, what's not fair, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. But I don't think that I would agree that IP law, there's abuses in it, but I still think that you need it to an extent. That's my view.
So this is where we finally, like, I'm going to do a few aha moments. I call them mindgasm, where you have like an orgasm, but it's of the mind, I love to see these like aha moments. One of the aha moments that I've had with libertarians, and I have friends who are libertarian capitalists, is property rights is just another institution. And while it is a natural right on a small level, like a lion, protecting its food, that is, and its family, when it gets this abstract thing, I own 1 million houses, and, BlackRock owns a bunch of farmland, or Bill Gates owns a bunch of farmland. When it gets to that level, property rights uses the government. It uses violence in order to enforce its framework, just as much as taxes are used by social democrats. It's still a framework that relies on that.
But so if you're against property rights, then there would be no such thing as theft, right?
I'm okay with personal property. What I mean by that is a small level. Like, I own my house. I can have a vacation house. I can have two, maybe. I could have my apartment, my family. But then, and my computers, the more I have, I would want to see a gradual reduction in the court's willingness to enforce it on my behalf. So in other words, if I have my 57th house and the guy takes shelter in it with his family, and I discover that this guy is using my house, and I want it to be empty, the court will be like, dude, how many houses do you have? And I'm like, well, I have 56 houses. And the court's like, dude, your property rights are not 100%. They fall off. We decline to use violence on your behalf as you get more stuff. That would be natural to me. That would be like nature, because a lion cannot.
So if you have only 2 houses, they should protect it, but because you have more, they now don't protect it.
Yeah, why should I be entitled?
Protect up to 10 houses or 5 houses or something.
Yeah, why should an individual person be entitled to unlimited services of protection by the government?
Because he traded with people voluntarily and they agreed to sell it to him, is what I would say.
Because he traded with people voluntarily. Well, I mean,
if there's 10 people, I have 10 people around here, all have houses, right?
Yeah.
And I offer them a deal. I make a deal with them to buy your house.
Yeah.
Like that one guy who had 1 house, we protect. That's fine. That's good. You have only 1. It's okay. But now that I've bought 10 houses from people who willingly sold them to me, the government's going to say, well, we only want to protect 7 of them. Or maybe they say you're only allowed to have 7 of them. Is that where
I hear you, and that justification is interesting. But
Like to be the first to hear about Intercoin's roadmap and news?
definitely join and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click that little notification button so you can get updates when the next video drops. And the next time we interview a legend like Noam Chomsky or Patrick Friedman. And if you would like to participate in the conversation, go to community.intercoin.app. We'd love to hear from you and about your community. This is what the project is all about. Intercoin, bringing power to the people.